Alright, hello and welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. This is a recently released board game that was kickstarted back in 2021 and just showed up a few days ago after a fair few delays and stuff. But I have been eagerly waiting for this one. It's basically an RPG in a box. If you're familiar with the role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade, or really anything from World of Darkness, which was originally White Wolf and is now owned by Paradox Interactive. But this game takes place primarily in Montreal over the span of like 60 different chapters, with branching paths, optional side missions, multiple playable characters, and so on. So the game starts off with, there's 8 prologue chapters, which aren't required to be played, but each one of them's like 10 minutes. And each one focuses on a different one of the main player characters in the box, in the core box. There are 4 expansions with 4 additional characters. But each one also focuses on a rule of the game. So the first one that we've got here is playing as the Gangrel, Aren Konway, who is right here. I've already played this prologue before, so I have the gist of what's going on with it, but I haven't played any of the other ones yet. Each of the... Get the dice over here. So I've got those. Each of the stories in the game are contained in this big storybook, which tells you how to set up each chapter and everything, and then gives like a prologue. It's like that right there. I have no idea how good this is looking on the camera because I can't see the camera, so I'm hoping for the best. But so I've got the level set up here the way it says here. And then there are these little chapter books, which some are bigger, some are smaller, which basically go over the events that'll happen in it and the challenges you make and everything to determine whether or not you succeed at the chapter you're running. So the prologue for Aren Konway. You open your eyes to the dawn of night, and immediately you feel yourself consumed with hunger. You go out looking for prey. Hopefully you'll find a strong, muscled mortal just the way you like them. The wind blows softly over the botanical garden tonight. The fair weather has attracted quite a crowd. You hide in the shadows to better observe your prey. Time goes by and the flow of mortals diminishes. You wonder if maybe you haven't waited too long when suddenly your attention is captivated by something else. Other vampires. You recognize them as acquaintances of yours, and they're tracking a prey on your territory. Something strange is up. You stay hidden and alert. A large masculine silhouette walks towards a white truck located in the parking lot. His face is hidden by the shadows. He circles the place, then returns to the truck. Once there, he opens the 2 back doors and takes out a shovel, which he throws over his shoulder before strutting back to the park with determination. Suddenly, under the orange glow of the surrounding street lights, you can see his face clearly. That scar, that face, the face of a killer. His face. The game primarily also takes place, I think in 2021 is when it's supposed to be, but it's modern nights. I only say that because the next section takes place in a flashback to 1990 during the Oka Crisis, which is in, I'm not sure what that is. I know it was in Montreal, but I'm not sure the events of it. Which, let me see here, because on the back of her character card, it's got her background. Aren Konway was born and raised in Kanawake, south of Montreal. Headstrong and unwilling to back down from any challenge, Aren got herself into more trouble than she can remember growing up. Through her mother, she gained a profound respect for the Mohawk traditions. When she was in her early 20s, the Oka Crisis began, and Aren was on the front lines, defending the land and the people she grew up with. When the army forced the band to abandon their barricades, Aren went home defeated. Instead of a warm home full of life, she found her house had been broken into. Inside was a man holding the lifeless body of her brother. The man was dressed in a Canadian Army uniform. That was the last straw. Aren jumped on him, determined to make him pay for what he had done here in this house and for everything he represented. The soldier proved to be more than Aren could handle. Despite it all, she fought tooth and nail to the bitter end, and that may well be what saved her. Unbeknownst to her, her fight was being observed by one Yuma McKenzie, a Gangrel vampire. To this night, Aren still wonders why this man was spying on her house, but she is nonetheless grateful for his embrace. Aren embodies everything the Gangrel aspire to be. She is fierce, bold, and strong. Now gifted with supernatural resilience and some wicked claws to boot, Aren takes her clan's motto to heart. In the vampire world, only the strong survive, and Aren is determined to be strong. She'll stop at nothing to find her brother's killer. So 1990, the Oka Crisis. You're in the small house where you found sanctuary about a week ago. These last few nights have been rough. The army hasn't been kind to you, far from it, but tonight especially your life changes. In the small house where everything is now in complete disarray stands a man. In his right hand, your brother. His neck is broken. Although you're mortal, you feel a sort of bestial hatred consuming you. Only one of you will make it out of here alive. Here is Aren's character sheet, which hopefully is good looking in the camera there. Unfortunately, this flashback happens when she's still immortal, so we can't use any of her special powers or anything. The objective of this scenario is to fight your opponent to the death. So the first thing we do is we're going to flip over his state card, which is this card here. It's double-sided. The side that usually starts up, face up, just lists what the NPC is called, in this case the Uncanny Soldier. He's listed as human, he has 3 movement, he has 3 line of sight, and he is aggressive. He also has access to a specific set of combat cards that he'll be using, which are specifically for human NPCs. There are also ones for vampires, ghouls, animals, things like that. So we flip over his card, which shows his stats. The Uncanny Soldier will, again, he has 3 movement and 3 line of sight. He will attack the closest opponent. Depending on whether you're playing with 1 and 2 players or 3 or 4 players, he has initiative of 5. So his initiative goes here. Initiative is based off of physical traits, which will get covered in a second, but in the case of Aren, her physical traits are 3, so her initiative will be 3. His attack is 2 in a 1 and 2 player game, and his resistance is 3, which is how much damage he absorbs before he takes damage. He has a special power called Family Reunion. You'll be with your brother soon, which is an attack that does +2 damage. So, that is his card right now. So after you reveal your opponent's state card, read event E1 from the little booklet, which again, we got right there. So, E1, Vengeance. The hatred seeping through your veins has become impossible to contain. You choose to attack. You still have a short period of time left to decide how you plan on killing your brother's murderer. Choose the method that will best satisfy your thirst for vengeance. There are 2 options. 1, anger consumes you and you fully intend on making that killer bleed. All you need to do is jump and seize the kitchen knife on the table, which to do that requires a physical plus athletics check at difficulty 5. If you succeed at that check, then you would read event number 2. If you fail, you read event number 3. And then the other option is he won't bleed. No, instead you will break each bone in his body with your bare hands. He needs to die by your own hands. Without hesitation, you lunge at him, fist raised, in which case you jump to event 4. We are going to go for the knife. So it's a physical plus athletics check, difficulty 5. So for that, we are going to roll a number of dice equal to our physical traits, which is, as I said, is 3. The symbols on the dice Blank is a failure. The Ankh is 1 success. And the Ankh with 2 fangs is 2 successes. To which you may be thinking, well, you could get a 5 with that, but that's going to be really difficult since you'd have to have 2 of the special and 1 regular success to make that. The other thing is her athletic skill is 3, and your rank and skills count as automatic successes for any challenge. So we're already starting off with 3 successes, so that makes it significantly easier. Aren has 6 max damage, so if she takes 7, then she dies. And she has 4 willpower. The damage is your physical traits times 2, which again, 3 to get 6. And then willpower is social plus mental traits. So she's got 2 social, 2 mental, so she has 4 willpower. You can spend willpower points to re-roll up to 3 black dice in a challenge. So let's go ahead and roll. I'm going to move these dice. The red dice are usable when you're a vampire. They're hunger dice, but as we're technically still immortal right now, they won't come into play here. So we have 3 successes. We need to get 2 more. And we got nothing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend the willpower, spend 1 willpower, and we can re-roll all 3 of these. And you can spend as many willpower as you want as long as you have them available. That's better. We're going to spend 1 more because we still need 1 more success after that with the one we just got. There's the ones we were looking for, so we now have 7 successes. Overkill, but is what it is. So, read Event 2. Event 2, Knife Out. Set your character and the uncanny NPC on the designated hexes. So, Aren is going to go right here. And he is going to go right there. In an instant, you swiftly seize the knife and attack your opponent. Take the kitchen knife item card, which I've already got here. Kitchen knife, which, when combined with a weapon combat card, gives you +1 die to your weapon skill checks. So we've got that. Add it to your inventory. When in possession of a weapon, you can use certain combat cards, such as Slash, that require a weapon to be used. We'll come back to that in a second when the actual fight starts. However, your opponent is no amateur. He charges you with extreme speed and violently knees you in the stomach. Take 1 damage and then move your character back 1 hex. So we now have 1 damage. And he knocks us back 1. It's your move. Proceed to Event 4. Event 4, Flash of Terror. Your enemy watches you without a word. You're about to start the battle when you suddenly feel yourself quiver in anger and anticipation. He seems stronger and quicker than you, yet you remain unfazed. You take your position when suddenly attacks you. Combat begins. Place your character token on a hex adjacent to the uncanny soldier. So for simplicity, we're just going to move right back where we just were. Your initiative is equal to your physical attribute level. In this chapter, you have an initiative at 3. Your enemy's initiative is mentioned on the state card, which is 5. So again, his is 5, ours is 3, which means he'll get to act first. If both an NPC and a player have the same initiative, the player always goes first. Your enemy's state card indicates their initiative, their attack, and their resistance levels. NPC combat cards add a bonus effect to one of these 3 elements. Shuffle the cards, which I have already shuffled them, and then take a random card and place it down next to his state card. So we've got Kick, which does +1 damage. Despite the worthy adversary before you, you won't back down. You go to any links. Oh, we're not supposed to reveal yet, so, well, still. We know what it'll be in a minute. You'd go to any links to avenge your brother. Read Event 5. Event 5, ready to fight. Your opponent is fast. The thought that the whole thing might be doomed from the start crosses your mind briefly. You try to avoid looking at your brother's body on the floor. Establish your active hand. To do this, pick a number of combat cards equal to your physical and mental attributes, again 5, from your combat deck. Your combat deck is made up of combat cards you have available thanks to your level in athletics, brawl, stealth, and weapon skills. So we've got athletics 3, brawl 3, weapons 1, and stealth 0. So we have a basic deck of these cards. Every character will have these cards. Punch, low kick, every player character I should say. Guard, spray, bite, and slash. Yeah, just straight out of the gate, everybody's got those cards for the player characters. Because we have Brawl level 3, we have access to High Kick, Uppercut, and Hook from level 1, Epon from level 2, and Armbar and Skull Crusher from level 3. With our weapon skill of 1, we have access to Straight Shot, which is a gun skill, and Pierce, which is a melee skill. And then with our athletics of 3, the only skill that gets cards at this point is level 2, which is dodge and leap. So for this scenario, they tell you to take the draw, leap, they tell you to take the leap, uppercut, and dodge cards. So leap, uppercut, and dodge for 3 of our 5 cards. And then it says take 2 cards of your choice from the combat deck. I'm going to take Pierce and Slash, which are both weapon skills, since we've got the knife. Remember, you cannot use the Bite combat card during this prologue since your character is still human. Here's a list of cards available to you and the level at which you can use them. Time has come for you to fight. Read Event 6. Choose your strategy. There are 3 types of combat cards: attack, defense, and mix. So dodge is a defense card, which it says defense right there. If you use that card, then it gives you plus 2 dice to roll when you're trying to dodge, when you're trying to not take damage. Leap is an attack card, which gives you plus 2 dice when you're trying to attack someone. It also, each card can also have other effects, which we'll go into in a second. And then Slash is a mix card. It can be used for attack or defense. If it's for attack, you get a plus 1 die. If it's for defense, you don't get an extra die, but the only way that you can roll to not take damage is if you take a defensive action. So with the mixed ones, when it comes up, like if the character is going to damage you, you can choose whether you want to try and defend or attack with it. So to begin play the Leap combat card. From your active hand, place it next to your character board. So we got that right there. Attack cards allow you to inflict damage on your enemy. They give 1 or more bonus dice to your physical check. They can also have a secondary effect that further enhances your attack. With a dangerous gleam in his eyes, your brother's murderer prepares to strike. Read Event 7. He takes the lead. Reveal your NPC's combat card, which, as we said, is Kick. It's a defense card, and your enemy doesn't inflict any damage to you. Instead, they add to their resistance bonus. This bonus is applied until the round ends. When you attack an NPC, reduce the damage they take by their resistance. However, if it's an attack, add the attack bonus to the attack level as indicated on the state card. So he gets plus 1 damage, which he already has 2, so he's going to do 3 damage. Because you placed an attack card face down, you do not get to defend against this attack. Increase your damage tracker by the amount of damage dealt to you by your opponent. So he does 3 damage, so 2, 3, 4. We only have 2 health left. And then move the initiative token of your enemy to the right of the initiative tracker. His turn is now over, so goes there. Time to fight back. Read Event 8. It's your move. Your skills count as automatic successes when making skill checks. You currently have 3 points in Brawl and still have 3 automatic successes. When you make an attack, roll a number of dice equal to your physical attribute plus the bonus granted by the attack card you played. So in this case, we're going to be rolling all 5 black dice for this. Take the result, which is success from dice and automatic successes from skills, and deduct the enemy's resistance from it. The final number is the damage you've dealt. Apply the damage to the damage bar on his state card. After you finish your attack, discard the attack card and move your initiative token to the right of the initiative tracker. Your turn is over. Oh, and this just goes here. If there were multiple characters, it'd be to denote which tracker is for which character. So, we have 3 successes, which he's going to block. So any successes we roll at this point is going to be damage. And we got 1 damage. We're going to spend 1 more willpower to reroll 3 of these. So we do 3 damage to him. I could spend the willpower to try and reroll those last 2, but I'm going to hang on to it in case we wind up needing it. So he takes 3 damage, which there's a little tracker there. 1, 2, 3. This right here is the amount we have to reach to take him out. This spot right above my finger in a 1 to 2 player game. So that's where we have to get. Might not make it. It is possible to lose this scenario but still complete the scenario. You throw your attack with conviction. Move the initiative tracker over to indicate that. Round is now over. Round's considered over once all players and NPCs have completed their turn. Put the tokens back to the left to begin the next round. So yeah, kind of pointless since we were going to move it back, but it is what it is. You throw your attack with conviction. You're smaller than your opponent, but you won't let that fact deter you. Read event 9. The enemy strikes back. It's once again the enemy's turn to strike. Draw a new combat card at random, put it face down next to his state card. He seems confident. You take position and ready to defend yourself against whatever attack he might have coming. Read event 10. Food for thought. For this turn, play the dodge card. Put it next to your character board. Defense cards like dodge reduce the damage inflicted upon you by your enemies. This bonus helps you gain 1 or more dice and add them to your physical check. Occasionally, defense cards will also have a secondary effect, much like attack cards. So, if he attacks you, you're ready to defend yourself. Dodge will give us +1 movement speed, which we don't really move much in this scenario, but otherwise would be important. And gives us +2 dice for our dodge roll. Read event 11. The fight continues. Deal the NPC's combat card and place it next to the state card. If it's an attack, you'll take damage. However, you can use your combat defense card to reduce it. Like with an attack, your skills count as automatic successes. With 3 points in Brawl, you'll have 3 automatic successes. So his card is another kick. So he does 3 damage. Which, right now, we're going to negate all of that. Roll a number of dice equal to your physical attribute plus the bonus dice from dodge. So again, we get to roll all 5 dice here. Which we got 3 successes. If your total amount of successes is equal to or greater than the damage inflicted, you don't take any damage. If your result is lower, however, subtract the amount of successes from the damage dealt. The remaining amount is the damage you take. If your number of successes exceeds the NPC's attack damage, take 1 resistance token for each point in excess. So this here is the resistance token. The last time I did this, I only got 1, so I only had 1 out. This time we would have 3 of them. So I'm just going to mark that next to 3 there as well, just to remember it. It's not going to matter much right now, though, because whenever you would take damage, you can discard a resistance token to reduce that damage by 1. So if there were other enemies in this scenario and they attacked afterwards, then the resistance tokens would come into play. But in this case, at the end of the round, if you have any remaining resistance tokens, discard them and gain a +1 bonus to your initiative. So that is actually going to work out really nice for us, though, at the end of the round, because with 3 of those, that's going to move our initiative from 3 to 6. So we'll get to go first. Move the NPC's token to the right of the initiative tracker. His turn is now over. Your opponent's eyes shine with malevolence, something that doesn't reassure you in the slightest. He seems too confident in the outcome of your fight. You decide to err on the side of caution and take a defensive stance. Now that you've defended from your opponent's attack, your turn is now also over. Discard your defense card and end your turn. Move your initiative token to the right of the initiative tracker. The round's now over. Put all the tokens at the back. So, again, because the resistance tokens are getting discarded, we're going from 3 to 6 here at the next round, which may be just what we need. For someone in a life or death situation, you remain surprisingly calm, probably because you know your fate is entirely dependent on your ability to remain focused. The next few minutes will be crucial to survival. Read Event 13. Plotting. It's your enemy's turn. Draw another card at random and place it face down next to a state card. Your opponent looks just as vigorous as before, but you won't give in. Play the Uppercut Combat card from your active hand. Mixed cards are versatile cards that you can either be used as a defense card or as an attack card. So put that there. If you are attacked before your turn, you can choose to use the mixed card as a defense card. On your turn, you can use the card as an attack card if it hasn't been used yet, or keep it as a defense card to defend against NPCs that play after you. You're not sure what your next move should be, to attack or defend yourself. Maybe the next strategy is to simply wait and see what your opponent does before deciding on a move. So this is kind of running off the assumption that you don't get moved ahead of him. So effectively it's going to have us hold our action for this. So we'll see what we get here. New Assault. Reveal the NPC's combat card and place it next to a state card. If it's an attack card, you must decide whether or not you'll use your mixed ability as a defense against your opponent or keep it to use as an attack. Choose wisely and resolve the attack accordingly. Move the NPC token to the right. His turn is now over. On your turn, if you've kept your mixed card to attack, roll the dice and tally the successes as explained previously. So Uppercut will cause the target to lose 1 initiative as well. So one way or the other, he's going to be lower than us as well for next one. So the combat card is Guard. So he gets 1 resistance, so he'll have 4 resistance here. So this is going to give us +1 die to roll with. We have 3 successes. So we'll take that one out, and we'll go ahead and use it to attack since he's not attacking us. Oh my God, can I get something here? I'm going to use the last willpower and really hope for the best, because I would like to actually put some damage on this guy. 2 successes. So he had 4. He's going to take 1 extra damage. I don't think we're going to win this fight. Because he still needs 1, 2, 3. We have to do 5 more damage to him to beat him. Your enemy cracks his knuckles. Disgusting sound. He's over here. He goes down 1. However, we get to remain at 6. Enemy cracks his knuckles. The disgusting sound makes you wince for a second until you realize he's trying to intimidate you. It's time for you to unveil your strategy. It's your turn again. Previous turns, you've only used combat cards as instructed, but note that you can also do the following during your active turn. Movement, athletics +1, use the blood, which we can't do right now because we're playing as a human. Perform an action, use an item or give an item to an adjacent player, use a combat card, use willpower points, or do nothing. Your movement is decided by athletics +1. So we would be able to move 4 squares, or 4 hexes if we were moving, but we're kind of sticking close to each other here for this. You've used all the different techniques at your disposal, but your enemy remains strong and difficult to put down. You grit your teeth filled with rage. Read Event 17. The grand finale. It's your turn now. Play a combat card of your choice to end this fight. You can retrieve. So basically we're on the final round. He gets 1 revealed. And we are going to use Slash because it, like I said, it's a mix. It'll give us +1 if we attack with it. It won't give us +any if we defend, but And then when combined with a weapon card, our kitchen knife gives us +1 die to our skill check. So we only get 1 automatic success, but we start off with 4 dice by default, 5 if we get to use this to attack. You can retrieve all your discard combat cards by spending 1 willpower point on your turn, which we can't do now. Your maximum willpower is equal to your mental and social. In this case, you have 4, which we've used all. So, let's reveal his card, Knee Strike. So he's going to do +1 damage and +1 initiative. So he'll do 3 damage on his turn. So if we have 1 success, he currently has 3 resistance. To get 5, we're going to need... We have 5 dice for this, since we're going to use it to attack, because at this point, either we win or we lose. So we need 7 damage to take him down. So it's possible, but it's unlikely. So shoot for the fences, kid. Let's see what we can get. So we got 3 successes total. That was where I would have, if I still had any willpower left over, I'd want to use one right now. But we don't. So we do 3 damage. He negates 3 damage. And he does 3 damage because he gets +1 damage from his attack, which is going to take us to death. If you lose, read event 19. If by some chance the Uncanny Soldier NPC's damage tracker reaches 8 or greater, read event 18. The first time I actually did do that. It gives you a bonus for beating him, but it's really hard to do the way that it's set up. So, event 19, No Way Out. Your enemy was way out of your league. Your attacks haven't had the desired effect, and his ripostes have left you feeling weak. You're on your knees, spitting both blood and saliva. The pain is suffocating. He leans over you and grabs hold of your face with his disgusting fingers. A sadistic smirk is etched onto his face as he draws near to you. Nice try. Don't feel bad, though. It's all right. After all, you get to join your brother now. He takes out his machete and hacks your chest open. You cry out in agony and collapse immediately. Your vision blurs and you feel the breath of life slowly leaving you. And then a different kind of agony at the thought that you couldn't avenge your brother. Your enemy kicks you one last time for good measure, but you don't even feel the pain anymore. He then leaves, abandoning you to your tragic fate. End of Prologue, Gangrel. You can read the conclusion on the back of the narrative page. Conclusion. You died that night. He let you agonize in your own blood. You felt your life leave you bit by bit. Your brother's corpse laid right next to you. Suddenly, an animal stench pervaded the air in your nostrils. Soon after, the silhouette of a mysterious stranger leaned over you. You fought well. You should do the trick. Suddenly, you felt the stranger carry you with complete ease. He brought your neck to his lips, and his long hair caressed your face when you let out one final breath. A metallic liquid filled your mouth and escaped the corner of your lips. Shortly thereafter, a bestial roar escaped you, and you jumped on your feet, longing for blood. Back in the present, your minds erased the remaining fragments of your past, namely those that have helped you survive alone during this long and tedious winter. You barely knew who and where you were back then, yet somehow you've managed to overcome it all. Today you know you are Gangrel, free, ferocious, and full of pride. Tonight your brother's murderer has trespassed on your sire's territory, giving you another chance at seeking justice for his death. The park's dirt will soon be soaking up blood. Reward, gain 1 XP each. So we gained 1 experience for this. Basically, if you succeed at taking down the Uncanny Soldier, you gain 1 additional XP. And the prologue rewards count for all players in a campaign, not just you. So, let's go ahead real quick and find a pencil to mark the character sheet. We also get to keep our kitchen knife because we played that. So we have 1. Um, each of the prologue chapters will have me playing as one of the as each of the main characters who are in the core book, or the core box, I should say, which are Aren from Clan Gangrel, who we just played as, Harold Bolu, who is of Clan Malkavian, who will be the next one we do, Samuel Armstrong of Clan Ventru, Thomas Chartrand of Clan Bruja, Luciana Ricci from Nosferatu, Nico Miller of the Toreador, Jade Lynn Duplessis from the Tremere, and lastly Gabe Tremblay of the Caitiff. We're not going to be doing all of those right now, obviously, but so the next one we'll be doing will be Harold of Clan Malkavian. The XP that you earn goes by the player and not the character. When you get to the real game, past the prologues, you'll be able to choose which of the characters you play as, and you'll stay as that character. As long as you choose, you can change it at any time, but if you change out of it, then you can't change back to that character. But any character that's open, you can choose to play as. And then the XP, if I was playing a full 4-player game, then everybody would get 1 XP from me completing the prologue. So everybody's on equal footing when they start the main game. So that is where we are going to stop right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it. The prologues are usually about 10 minutes. This one took a little bit longer as I was explaining some of the things. As they go, they'll go a little bit faster because less things will need to be explained. But next time we will be playing as Harold of Clan Malkavian. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.